That email was sent across government agencies.
So it was sent to the FBI.
It was sent to.
So you just said it was never sent to the FBI. So was it or was it not?
It was sent to the FBI. I, as the director of the FBI, said we are not.
Who sent it?
We are not responding to it. It came from a general account at the department.
Okay, so then my next question is, that information that my FBI agent in my district sent to that agency, how is that information protected?
I'm sorry, are you saying the agent responded to that email?
Are you saying they did not?
I told the workforce not to.
But you just told me that they received the email.
We did.
So without this, let's just assume that they did. Where did that information go and how is it protected?
Frank Mrvan starts calm. Routine questions. Funding, drug trafficking. But then one email blows the whole hearing wide open. Who sent it? Who received it? And why does no one seem to know where that information went? Stay with this one because this exchange spirals fast.
Mr. Van.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Director Patel. In a local situation in Maryville, Indiana, within my district, I have a high intensity drug trafficking area, HIDA, which receives federal funding. That works with the local law enforcement. We are the crossroads of America near Chicago. The drugs that you're talking about are transported through those areas all the time. With these budget cuts, can you talk about how those HIDA and agencies will be funded?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. It's like any other successful mission set that we have at the FBI. And HIDA, I worked on as a terrorism prosecutor as myself. Extremely critical because, like some of the other situations across the country, that region has been recognized, unfortunately, because of the high-intensity drug flow. In order to countermand it, we have to keep these task forces open, up and running, and funded. But in order to do that, we can't just flood it only with federal funds and federal personnel committed to working with our state and local partners because that's what makes HIDA successful. My experience in HIDA wasn't in your district, but down in the Southern District of Florida, and I can't imagine it being too different in terms of how we proceed and how to make that successful.
Okay. My next question is, just recently you had a visit to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Just please tell me how that cyber tip line and how that program's future looks with these $500 million cuts.
We actually partner wonderfully with NCMEC, and we've committed to allowing our FBI employees to remain there no matter what. We will find a way to fill that mission set, even if, even under the most austere of budget cuts, because what they do is exceptional. If people don't know, they need to go there and see it. It's right in Arlington, Virginia. They find missing children from 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, and they provide treatment to those that have been abused.
Okay.
And so you have my commitment, sir, that we'll do it.
I appreciate that. And according to the domestic terrorism operations sections, the internal tagging system used to track domestic terrorism investigations was eliminated, and the staff of 16 was reduced. Can you tell me that future and where you hold that program?
Sir, if I may, can I get back to you on that in writing because I'm not familiar with that off my head.
Then in your written testimony, you had talked about cybersecurity. I'm going to tie two things together. The FBI agents, are they still currently at the end of every week emailing the 5 things that they've accomplished?
I'm glad you raised that point, sir. We never did that.
Okay.
I stopped
the
that.
FBI agents were never asked to put in their goals in which they accomplished? The reason why I say that is because I had a specific conversation at a retirement party of a chief from an agent who expressed to me that after he had chased a car down 8094 who had stabbed a family member and he left his home and was able to prevent that individual from killing someone else because it was cross state lines, that he had to go back and then that next day was told he had to fill out his emails of what he accomplished.
That email was sent across government agencies.
So it was sent to the FBI.
It was sent to.
So you just said it was never sent to the FBI. So was it or was it not?
It was sent to the FBI. I, as the director of the FBI, said we are not.
Who sent it?
We are not responding to it. It came from a general account at the department.
Okay, so then my next question is, that information that my FBI agent in my district sent to that agency, how is that information protected?
I'm sorry, are you saying the agent responded to that email?
Are you saying they did not?
I told the workforce not to.
But you just told me that they received the email.
We did.
So without this, let's just assume that they did. Where did that information go and how is it protected?
That information would have only been sent to their immediate supervisor, and every supervisor in the Bureau was told if they received any such information, it is not to be actioned in any way.
So what happened with that information with the supervisors?
I don't know. Well, I'll have to get back to you on that, if any was collected, but if it was,
So you said that the FBI, that a different agency sent that email. What was that agency?
it came from the Department of Justice.
Okay. And those emails never went back to the Department of Justice who requested it?
No, sir.
Okay. And you're 100% confident of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The information that the supervisors had from those agents, where did that go?
That should not have been transmitted anywhere. We got on top of it fast enough where I believe, and I'll
Because you
double
thought
check.
it was wrong?
I thought
Why did you prevent it?
because the operational mandate that we have at the Bureau, in my opinion, prohibited the public disclosure of that information across our media.
So to be perfectly clear, the Department of Justice got it wrong.
I'm not speaking for the Department of Justice. As
You
I
are saying that that directive was in complete conflict of what your procedures and processes are.
my procedures and processes are under the Department of Justice. I'm saying as a subordinate of the Department of Justice, that's where the email came from. I don't know where it came from on top of them.
But your directive was to make sure that the Department of Justice did not get the FBI information,
That no one got it.
except the supervisors. Why would they
If-
request it if they would never get it?
Well, the supervisors were told to stand down. What I'm trying to say is, when that email came in, we acted as fast as we could, I think the same day, to say we are not in a position to do that. Everybody hit pause till we figure out what to do. And the end result was, we at the FBI are not complying with that request to publicly do so. And we told agents that if you feel the need to express that information to your supervisors, only do so in the classified system.
Okay. The information that I received, that personal conversation that I had, that agent didn't seem like he felt the need. He felt it was a directive. I thank you for your forthcoming. I look forward to working with you. The purpose of me bringing up this questioning was to make sure that that information is secure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
I'll
very
double
much.
check.
Mr. Moore.
Yield back.
What makes this exchange so revealing isn't the email itself, it's how quickly certainty collapses once someone starts asking follow-up questions. Frank Mrvan doesn't come into this trying to score points. He starts where most members do: local impact, real places, real consequences. Indiana sits at the crossroads of major drug trafficking routes, and HIDTA task forces are often the difference between stopping a shipment and letting it pass through untouched. When Mrvan asks about funding, he's not fishing for a headline. He's asking whether these joint task forces will still exist. Kash Patel's early answers sound composed and confident. He talks about his experience, stresses how critical these task forces are, and emphasizes partnerships between federal, state, and local agencies. On the surface, it's textbook testimony, reassuring language, broad agreement, nothing controversial. Then Mrvan changes lanes, and that's where the hearing actually begins. He brings up an internal email reportedly sent to FBI agents, asking them to summarize their weekly accomplishments. That might sound harmless to the public, but inside law enforcement, especially federal law enforcement, this is a serious issue. Agents don't casually document operational activity in mass emails because those details can involve active cases, informants, surveillance methods, or cross-agency investigations. That's why documentation normally stays inside secure systems, tightly controlled and purpose-specific. So when Patel responds by saying, flatly, that it never happened, that FBI agents were never asked to do this, Mrvan doesn't argue. He introduces something much more powerful: lived experience. He recounts a direct conversation with an agent who believed the email was real, believed it was mandatory, and believed he was expected to comply, even after stopping a violent crime. That matters because it tells us this wasn't just theoretical confusion. Whatever that email was, it was credible enough that agents took it seriously. And that's when the contradictions begin to pile up. Mrvan presses him. Was the email sent or not? Patel corrects himself. Yes, it was sent, but not by the FBI. It came from the Department of Justice. That distinction is critical, and also deeply uncomfortable. The FBI operates under the DOJ, so if the DOJ sends a directive to FBI agents, it doesn't feel optional, even if leadership later says it was wrong. That's why Mrvan keeps drilling down, not on intent, but on consequences. If agents received it, where did their information go? Who saw it? Was it stored? Was it protected? And here's where the exchange becomes unsettling. Patel repeatedly insists that agents were told not to respond, that supervisors were told to stand down, that nothing should have been transmitted anywhere. But when Mrvan asks what actually happened to the information that may have been collected, Patel admits he doesn't know. That's the red flag. In federal law enforcement, "I don't know" isn't a neutral answer. It signals a breakdown in chain of custody thinking. Either the information exists and is controlled, or it doesn't exist at all. Uncertainty suggests something was created without a clear plan for where it lives, who owns it, or how it's secured. Mrvan then exposes the core contradiction. Why would the Department of Justice request information it supposedly never intended to receive? Patel's answer reveals the deeper problem. He says he stopped it because it conflicted with FBI procedures, yet moments later acknowledges that those procedures themselves fall under DOJ authority. In other words, the same department that governs the FBI issued a directive the FBI leadership believed violated its own rules. That's not a small miscommunication, that's a structural conflict. And it explains why Mrvan doesn't attack Patel personally at the end. Instead, he reframes the entire exchange. This wasn't about catching someone in a lie, it was about ensuring that sensitive operational data, potentially involving violent crimes, ongoing investigations, or agent safety, wasn't floating through bureaucratic channels without safeguards. When Patel says he'll double-check, it lands hollow, not because he's being evasive, but because the damage is already clear. A system that relies on informal pauses and verbal stand-downs after the fact is not a system built for security. That's the lesson viewers should take away from this moment. Oversight hearings aren't about shouting matches. They're about stress-testing systems. And in this case, a single email exposed how easily responsibility can blur when agencies overlap, directives conflict, and no one can definitively say where sensitive information went.
If you found this breakdown helpful, stay with us, because we don't just show you the exchange, we explain what it actually means. And if you think accountability should be clearer than "we'll check," share this, drop your thoughts below, and keep watching.